All right. So now we'll transition into our Keep It a Buck segment.
Yes.
Okay. So our Keep It in a Buck segment for today is inspired by one of my favorite books. I was thinking about it heavily this weekend. It's called Thinking in Bets. And so the Keep It a Buck today is about thinking in the bets, and it's about, living in a world of probabilities, okay? And this book was written by a young lady named Annie Duke. She is presumably the world's best female poker player. She was getting her PhD at University of Pennsylvania in psychology and quit to become a professional poker player and has made over $6 million in playing poker. And then she wrote this book called Thinking in Bets, where she breaks down her approach to everything is thinking in probabilities. And saying basically how if you think in probabilities and you leave some room for luck and randomness, that you can actually improve your decision making overall. It's one of my favorite books. I gave it to the community maybe about 3 or 4 years ago. And I definitely encourage you guys to read it. But it's going to help you really understand how the world works as far as your decision making, right? Because at the end of the day, every single decision that you make is a bet on the future outcome. And it's not necessarily saying it has to be a financial bet, but if you say, hey, I'm going to walk across the street, you're literally making a bet and a decision saying that it's a high probability that you can walk across that street safely without getting hit by a car. That's literally what you are saying and what you are deciding. When you eat, you're saying that I bet that this food, 1, will not give me poison and not kill me. 2, it could have a positive impact on my life by either giving me energy and or helping me stay healthy. That's a bet that you are taking, right? Because there is a probability that something could go wrong. And so when you think in bets and when you think in probabilities, it will help your analytical, critical, rational decision making, and it will also help you remove emotions from your decision making process. So I wanted to encourage you guys to think in bets, think in probabilities, and then focus on data-driven decisions that increase and give you high probabilities to make good decisions. Because one of the things that the book talked about is you can make good decisions and still end up having a bad outcome because of something was out of your control or just randomness or, luck or bad luck. So it talks about not necessarily looking at the outcomes, but looking at the rationale of the decision making and focusing in on the process. So when you do that, you can continually, repeatedly, and consistently put yourself in high probability positions to be successful over time. Okay, so that is our Keeping It in the Buck today. Think in bets.